What is up, guys? It's your boy No Risk, No Premium, back with another episode of the 2 Minute Drill, guys. Today was a FOMC event that did not disappoint. We were saying it in the Wolves of Wealth community. If you're in our Discord community, we're saying, man, today feels unlike any other. There wasn't any true rangy feelings. It was a pop up. We had a trend day down, then we had a pop up into the data release. Things were already shifty. Then what happened? What happened? Well, when Powell was on and speaking, what level came in and did not want us to get through it? Right? Let's take a zoom back here. We talked about it yesterday. We said the 401 to 402 level is definitely a short, right? Is definitely a short. Well, I could tell you this from Friday's the previous day high. Okay, we could not get a 1 hour closer there. That was the first thing. Second thing was we definitely went up and rejected right into this huge level. But what was said that caused this whole thing? Basically, Powell went from all deposits are insured at all of these banks to all of a sudden, no, they're not. And there is right now zero chance of a rate reduction this entire year. In the beginning, he had mentioned we'll probably pause rates. It's very possible. And then he said, but we will not reduce them. The market didn't want to hear that. The market started selling. And then at the end of it, he kind of stormed off. It almost seemed like at the very end, because he has the toughest job in the world. Let's be honest. I wouldn't want to sit up there and get questioned by those knuckleheads for an hour, basically about the situation that we put ourselves in. So, nonetheless, I digress. They sold it the fuck off. 0.25 basis point hike. We went ripper, then we went dipper. So, what happens tomorrow? Okay, well, we've got to what? We've got to draw. My favorite thing is what? Draw the fucking box. Draw the balance zone. What happened? Look below and pop back up. Look above, come back down. Spend a little time, break out into supply, right back into the zone. Huge thing here is we close underneath the 200-day moving average. Okay, and what also happened was we rejected the 50 MA on the daily, right? So we could see, we knew all this confluence is just sitting in here together. Everything's all fucked up. Okay, but we saw the reject of the 50. We're back underneath the 20, and now we're back underneath the 200-day. 200 days sitting at the 392.53. Today's close, 392.11. Interesting. Okay, interesting. So this will be the game plan for tomorrow. Do we get a dead cat bounce? I don't know, but this is what I do know. Tomorrow we have jobless claims. Jobless claims come out pre-market. Okay, they come out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so you better be paying attention. Okay. If you're in the Wolves of Wealth community, obviously we do our Zoom call in the morning at 8:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so we're all prepped and ready to go. But if you are not, then you better have your ass ready. You better understand that this data is going to come out at 8:30. What is the possibility? Okay. Well, we are back in the range. And I'll say this, unless we reverse to all hell tomorrow and get Ripper back above 400, I see the possibility of this bounce. Where could the bounce go? Well, we know 394 was, we remember we had this gap to fill, right? Yeah, the gap to fill to 400 or 394 from from yesterday's action. Okay. We just completely blurped through. I mean, we just threw up on ourselves. We were like the drunk girl at the frat house, just too much to drink and just threw up on ourselves. The volume during the morning was like 40 million into Powell, non-existent. There was over 50 to 60 million traded in the last 2 hours alone. Do we get continuation? If we get continuation, I'm going to look at this 390 level. And why this 390 level is important, if you look on the weekly chart here, we can see what this 390.07 would turn this candle red and likely take us down to the lower edge of the range. I would target, if we get underneath, okay, if we get underneath 390 tomorrow, okay, which is very likely, if we want to continue the sell down, if we get underneath this 390 level, you can see here, I would target the lower part of the range, 380, 350, 384, whatever you want to call it. Okay. But do we get a bounce first, right? This level that we held right all day on yesterday. Okay. Do we possibly bounce back up? If you're a bear, you want to look for that little bit of lower high. If we don't, just break under today's low already and then look at 390. I think 390, we could see if we have more selling pressure, we get underneath, likely could take puts, ride them down to the lower end of the range. You'll be underneath the 50-day. You'll be underneath the 20-day. You'll be underneath the 200-day. Okay. Now, if they want to sell us to all hell tomorrow, it's possible, or Friday or whatever, in the next 2 days. What are the targets? Okay, what are the targets? I think my targets will be pretty simple. I'm going to be targeting here the 200 weekly moving average. That could come this week, maybe it could come next week, but this candle is not looking like a strong buyer's candle here so far, right? So underneath 380, you're going to look at 374. You've got 370, as a 200 weekly moving average. Okay, and then 368 under there. So I'd be looking in this range here for us to possibly, and we should likely produce a pretty decent bounce. 394 would definitely be my first price target, though, if we want to close this weekly candle underneath 390. I'm getting ahead of myself. We should just be on for tomorrow. So tomorrow's action is simple. Okay, and this could all go to hell, obviously. The Europe session could kick in tonight, and they just continue fucking selling this bitch off. I got no idea what will happen. Currently, futures are up 7 handles. Nothing, no heroic bounce. Could be the start of a day 2 down. You know, maybe down to this 398, 386, all the way, maybe down to, I mean, look at this candle. This candle went from 402 to 390. That's a 10-point candle. Now, I don't think we get another 10-point day tomorrow with the jobless claims, unless jobless is non-existent. That would just further put the pressure on the Fed to continue to possibly raise rates and definitely not decrease them, right? But now I think what the sell came from today was the true panic from the banks. Large institutions, are they maybe offloading their shares now because they need cash? They need liquidity to stay afloat because they're full of junk bonds, because they're pretending like they had no idea that Powell, after he kept rates low for 10 years, is all of a sudden going to have to raise them because inflation is out of fucking control. I don't know. Quite honestly, I don't care. I don't care. If you would have saw the reject of your levels today, you could have just not really paid attention to what Powell had to say. The break of 395.50 was going to fill the gap. It did fill the gap. It went plus some. We looked at 401.50 as a reject. We got it. I mean, technically we went to 402. Okay. But if you could see on an hourly chart that we weren't going to get through the previous day high, it was pretty significant that we were going to go back down, right? So game plan for tomorrow. Do we get a little dead cat bounce? I don't know. We'll have to see possibly what happens in this overnight session. Right now, a big old nothing burger. We're sitting at about 6.5 handles to the upside. Nothing crazy. Do they sell us more? I don't know. Maybe I'd look for the back test, maybe 395.50, maybe even just 394. That's the bottom of the range. We'll have to wait for the morning and see how the overnight action treated us. And then we'll have a better picture of what the game plan will be. Under 390, you want to target the bottom end of the range. I'd look at 383, 50, 84. If we get underneath that, look for the previous week low at 380. All righty, guys. That's all I got for you. Okay. Hope you crushed it today. I hope you wake up early tomorrow. I hope you get your levels right. And I hope you don't do anything fucking stupid. We'll see you bright and early